For most people, because that's really what they're valuing, often by default, because of unconscious shadows, values conflicts, and limited beliefs, what we're really valuing is safety, security, comfort, and convenience. And now we can at least go, no wonder. No wonder my life isn't growing and expanding. Don't let conditions determine your destiny. We are very much conditioned to believe that conditions are what determines us. Our bank account, our body, our business, the state of the economy, whatever it is that we have been conditioned to believe that a situation, an experience, is what determines what we think, how we feel, and what we can do or not do, and therefore who we can become. And what I want you to understand, and I talk a lot about this, but I want to zero in again today, is that that's 100% false. Not even karmic conditions determine your destiny. Karma determines the hand you're initially dealt, the initial conditions you experience, and the experiences you have, let's say today or in your life now. That's just a starting point. But what determines your destiny, what determines what happens tomorrow and next week, next month, and next year, is your character, is your fundamental mindset and the fundamental map of reality and identity that you hold and that you embody. Character determines destiny, not conditions, not even karma. Character is made up of habits. The habits of thinking, feeling, speaking, being, and doing. It's really just thinking, feeling, being, and doing, and you include speaking in that, but it's these four quadrants that really determine what you ultimately are going to become in your character. So character determines destiny. Habits are what your character is built of. Your habits are built by what you do consistently, by the thoughts you think consistently, by the things you feel consistently, the emotions that you entertain on a consistent basis, by the things you say, by the way you show up, and by the things you do consistently. That builds a habit. What you do consistently is based on your commitment. And what we, by default, commit to is our values and our vision. The challenge is, most people, and I will even include most of you watching, don't really have a clear vision. You don't really know what values are running you. You may say that you value, love, or you value wealth, or you value health, or you value success. But I want to invite you to do a little exercise. Go look at the last 3 to 6 months of your credit card and bank statements, and the last 3 to 6 months of your calendar. And if you don't keep a calendar, we already know you have a challenge. If you don't have a real structure, perhaps just take a diary and really kind of reflect what you've really been doing and be honest over the last week, month, 3 months. It's just like if you want to lose weight, you have to really keep track of the food that's going in and the exercise that's going out. Kind of write all that down and begin to identify, maybe by percentage, how much of a percentage you've got in entertainment, in food, in education, in financial investment, etc., in relationship-based stuff. How much are you spending on those things? How much are you investing of time in those things? Etc. Your time, talent, and treasure. Where is that being invested when you look at your bank accounts, your credit cards, and your calendar? Now, I understand that if you don't have a lot of money, perhaps, you may have a lot of money invested in the basic staples. So then look at where the rest of it is. Or maybe you don't think you have a lot of time because you work a full-time job and maybe you're also a full-time parent. But then look at what you do with all the time you do have. And even if you work a full-time job and you're a parent, believe it or not, there's a lot of hours remaining. And where do those get invested? Where's the time, talent, and treasure? that will begin to give you a glimpse, if not a very rude awakening, of what you really value. So for example, we say to ourselves, we value success, or we value wealth and abundance. And then we look at our time, talent, and treasure, and we see that where we invest most of our time, talent, and treasure is in entertainment, Netflix, or we invest it in just a variety of things. And we say, and we notice there's money, a lot of money that gets invested in stuff that doesn't bring much long-term return, shopping, clothes, or whatever our extra money left over. Or we notice we do just the minimal when it comes to working. And so we don't endeavor to get a raise, or we haven't really endeavored to build our wealth. Or we notice we don't spend any time or energy hardly on building our wealth mindset, or building our financial acumen and understanding on how to manage wealth. And we may be telling ourselves the story, well, I don't have enough money, so when I have more money, then I'll worry about that. No, it happens the other way around. You have to value wealth and money first. Then you have to act and invest time, talent, and treasure, and be a good steward of those resources and allocate them in a way that wealthy people do and did before they got wealthy, right? That's just one example. And then you might also notice, let's say you want health, but how much time, talent, and treasure do I invest in getting my body in shape, in eating properly, in drinking water, exercising, or whatever other elements, learning about the body, learning about practices. How much time, talent, and treasure do I invest in that? Now again, with each of these categories, even now you may be thinking, well, I will and I would invest more time if I had more time. It doesn't work that way. You have to invest the time first. You have to find it even in the cracks and begin to put a wedge in there by taking a stand for the things you really say you value. You may say, I value, being successful in life. But if you look at your time, talent, and treasure, you don't invest much of any of that in developing that book or developing that business, or investing your treasure in education and coaching and mentorship, or whatever the case may be. And now what you may begin to discover when all is said and done is that what you really value, which most human beings do, is safety, security, comfort, and convenience. Safety, security, comfort, and convenience. Those are like the 4 horsemen of mediocrity. If you want to be pretty guaranteed that you're not going to live a very fruitful, healthy, abundant, successful life, then make your top priorities safety, security, comfort, and convenience. Now, I'm not saying those aren't valuable. I'm not saying it's not good to have comfort to a degree, or that it's not good to have some convenience with all the technology. It's not that it's not good to have a level of safety and security. That's called being a good steward of your life, your body, your loved ones, and all of that. But for most people, because that's really what they're valuing, often by default, because of unconscious shadows, values, conflicts, and limited beliefs, but because of that, what we're really valuing is safety, security, comfort, and convenience. And now we can at least go, no wonder my life isn't growing and expanding. Because safety, security, comfort, and convenience as a value set at the top of your hierarchy is a value set of fear, lack, limitation, constriction, and ultimately stagnation. It's based on the belief set that there's not enough to go around, or I'm not enough, I can't trust life, I'm not safe, a map of reality that says those things. And so then we value, if we believe we live in a world of scarcity, and we live in a world of duality, and we live in a world of danger, and that we're fundamentally not good enough or worthy enough, then we're going to value the things that seem to keep us safe in that world. The problem is that's not an accurate description of reality. That's a limited map of reality. So now if we want to shift those value sets, we have to begin to say, first of all, have a vision for our life that lights us up, that turns us on, that makes us want to leap out of bed in the morning and makes us not even want to go to sleep at night because we're so jazzed. And then we take that vision and we begin to visualize and use the tools, visualize, free write, to get a sense of who would I be if I was living that? What would be my habits of thinking, my habits of feeling, my habits of doing, my habits of being? And we begin to write those down. What would I value if I was living that life? And then write those down. And then again, we can look at those values. If I really valued these top 4 things, health, wealth, success, spirituality, whatever, how would I think? What would I think about? What would I believe? What would I feel? What would I do? And now we can begin to build practice, our daily meditation, prayer, affirmation work. We can begin to design a day and a week where we are doing the things we would do if we really valued those things. We can begin to design these practices where we are visualizing or to activate the feeling tone of that vision so that the emotional habit of that high frequency becomes integrated in us. We can begin to create affirmations that are the kinds of ways we would think about our life if we truly valued those things and if we were truly living that life. And now we build a practice. And now we commit to that. We commit to those values. We commit to that vision. We commit to that practice. And we commit to that new design for our days and for our life. And commitment means not only when it feels comfortable and convenient, safe or secure. It means even when it doesn't feel those things, we still honor those values. And as we do that, the value hierarchy begins to shift. And through conscious commitment, intention, and action, those values that are down below and are not getting activated enough, they start to go to the top. And love or success, wealth, health, spiritual growth, they start to become activated and start to take their place at the top of our values hierarchy. And then safety, security, comfort, and convenience take their rightful place below the waterline. And we build a new habit. And that becomes a new character, which is often forged through the fires of transformation by getting up and sitting on the meditation chair and sitting and writing or meditating or asking for help or investing time, talent, and treasure, even when it's uncomfortable. Then we break through those thresholds of the ego. We reprogram our mindset. We create a new map of reality. We literally create a new identity. Now we have a new character, and the new character, which is a new program, that literally becomes an autopilot for a new destiny. So that even if we're facing hard conditions right now, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, relationally, as we build that new character, those conditions must begin to break down and reformulate themselves, be transmuted into a new form. We have real transformation. We transcend our current formation and we form a new condition. This is how we do not any longer allow conditions to determine our destiny. Not what our spouse thinks, not what our parents think, or how they're acting, not what our job or our boss is doing, not what the economy or even our body, business, or bank account are doing. We actually are able to do this now because we've taken back agency and sovereignty. We've activated our connection to our source, and we now are the captains of our ship and the masters of our fate.